Greetings and aloha. What's going on? It's Mike from livemyassoff.com. Ooh, that's a different sort of height. How about that? Is that better? No. I like chop myself off at the neck. I don't think I like this camera. It's convenient because I now have my laptop off to the left and it's kind of working. But hi, how you doing? Greetings and aloha. What's going on? It's Mike from livemyassoff.com. And I want to thank all you guys for coming by yesterday and sitting there. That was unintentional now, wasn't it? Well, it was, I can tell you right now. And I'll go into a little bit of what happened yesterday. It was actually pretty interesting because I got to hang out with a buddy of mine and talk a little bit about his business and that sort of thing, which I absolutely love doing. Talking about other people's successes, quite frankly. And live vicariously through them, if nothing else, right? So Mark Van Dorn. So here's what's funny, Mark. Do you have a brother named Sander? I told you a couple of you guys that I'm working on a couple of different projects, not the least of which is another radio station down in Pattaya, Kiss FM. And basically, I switched the format to basically be sort of like hits, but also all things dance. If you've ever heard of the Evolution format, if you're from the United States, then you're probably familiar with the Evolution brands that are available on iHeartRadio and other ones. And so anyway, Sander Van Dorn is one of the DJs that I was literally just adding this morning and adding his show, Identity. So cheers to your namesake. I'm having 3 in 1, therefore I'm gagging. Oh my God, so many of you guys. Joe, thank you. So Joe, right, even though I wasn't here yesterday, sends me $5 with Buy Me a Smoothie. Dude, you're amazing. Thank you. That's just like exceeding my expectations, sir. Thank you so much. It's been a while since I did this live stream thing, and I miss it, as you might guess. I miss being on stage, regardless of the size of the stage. Interestingly enough, so this bag here, Lifestyle Juicery, which you probably can't see the logo of, that is my buddy. He's the CEO of that company, lifestylejuicery.com. If you're in Bangkok, actually, I highly recommend that you try out lifestylejuicery.com. And to be fair, they're one of the advertisers on bkk.fm as well as Kiss FM in Pattaya now. And so I have tried their product, and in fact, I have some in the fridge. I will showcase it a little bit later in the show, and it's really good juice. It's ridiculously good juice, but it's also the experience. And so, for example, this bag here, here. It's insulated in the way that the juice gets delivered every 2 or 3 days. And it's insulated with this, and it's got their wonderful little logo on it. And anyway, so it's been neat interfacing with him and sharing challenges and successes, actually, about someone who is truly an entrepreneur. And the thing I love about it most is the way that he talks about his employees and how successful they are at their specific skill, and how he basically props them up, and how he as a CEO works for them. It's this whole servant leadership thing that I digest and regurgitate on like all day long. I just think that that's just fantastic. So, oh my goodness. And Chris, thank you so much. Let me highlight you. Mark, what bridge is that? Is that Singapore? I can't see the whole thing. It just reminded me of that for that. Chris, good to see you, man. Chris and I, it's like several of you, actually, we chat offline. And Chris has just been an amazing support force for Gracie and I. So thanks, man. It's been really cool checking in with you and listening of your successes and hearing of your successes, as well as your next move that, of course, will not happen this weekend, but good for you for planning for the future of extreme happiness. So I haven't been to Outback. Well, I haven't been to the United States, right, in almost 2 years, but I haven't been to Outback in, I know exactly the last time I was at Outback. Gracie and I were in Florida, and if you followed the channel at all or watched any of the videos when we were down there, it was when we were renting the Chevy. A lot of people will call it a vet, but it's a Chevy. So we rent this car, and it was funny because we go there, right, and we land. It's like 5:30 in the morning that we get to Florida because it was cold in San Diego. So I'm like, that's it. We're going to Florida for like 3-4 days. And so we land and we go to Avis, and I said, okay, I have a reservation. And I always rent like the absolute cheapest car because, yes, they're going to always try and upsell you, but it's also like I'm getting from point A to point B. So I want the car that gets the best mileage, right? Because then the cheapest fuel consumption. And so she says, well, how much luggage do you have? And we look down, we each had like a backpack or whatever. She says, okay, well, we have this Corvette. And I'm like, okay, I mean, that's a cool car, but there's like no room in it. Like I got to put the seat all the way back. I mean, I'm only 6'2". I don't know who designs these cars. And so she says, it's either that or the minivan. And I said, okay, well, I'm not that lame. I'm not that freaking practical. I mean, I'll go Prius if I want to be, prudent. But other than that, anyways, that was a fun weekend. We were there with and that's her coughing, by the way. I allow her to do that as well as make dinner. So good teammate. Smash the fist. So this is probably new to many of you. Well, Mike wearing a wedding ring is insane, right? For a lot of you who would think that, but hey. Oh, sweet. That's a cool picture of Eurydice. Too bad she's covered up with the silly YouTube logo. I'm a big fan of the Eurydice. Hey, Tim. What's up, man? Good to see you. Good chatting with you back and forth, bantering on Do More Life yesterday. It was really cool. Thank you guys so much for. Hey, Jason, what's going on, buddy? Salt Lake City. Well, you're not in, right? Like you went there for a day trip, but you're near there. And so today is, let's see, I'm going to go with 8:30 p.m. where you are, right? I can't remember exactly the time zone that's there. Yeah, have you guys been watching her channel? Because she's like, well, I'm going to make a new channel. I said, well, why don't you just keep that one and just do like the kitchen stuff? And it's really cool. I mean, 100% of it all on her phone, like the editing and everything. I just think that that's fantastic. I can't do that. I get to the point where I reach the limits of the apps that I have on my phone. And then I just get frustrated, and then I go to my laptop, and then of course I get frustrated that I only have one screen, and then I buy a second screen for my laptop, and then now I have a workstation. So now I'm basically back to work. I just don't work 9 to 5. I work 5 till 9, pretty much. Now that I have projects, it's I'm working a lot. Well, I like it though, right? So the infamous "it's not work." Oh wait, what's this? Hey, hold on. What's going on there? I missed a bunch. What did you say? It's good to see you, man. I haven't looked at this. See how long your comments are, dude? They cover my face. My ego is tough at that. A lot of Thai girls to make money have taken away. Reuters. Okay, well, you guys can click on that if you'd like. Because clearly it's the first documented account of any woman doing sexually suggestive stuff on the internet. So thank you for keeping us up to date with that. I'm sure it'll change the entire world and actually how we use the internet. Very nice, dude. That's cool. Oh, right. Okay. I see the rods up there. Very cool. Indeed, Todd. How are you, sir? All of them. Every single one of them, Roger. Where are you now, man? You cruised home, didn't you? To pick up your version of Eurydice. Daily drivers, a 94 Plymouth Grand Voyager minivan practicality. Absolutely, dude. 94. So I had a 74 Plymouth Scamp, and I got to tell you, that slant six engine, game changer. Super reliable. No, it's her daughter, my stepdaughter, I guess. I mean, there's a whole bunch of legals. That's like saying Gracie was my wife more than like 3 or 4, months ago. And she is. she's been my wife for, a long time now. And it's just now that we finally have some lady that yelled at us as we were trying to get her to sign a piece of paper that says we were actually together. Greg, good to see you. I don't know if I've seen you here before. So welcome to the Cool Kids table, sir. I'm sure everyone else will. 7. Oh, you're okay. Cool. Got it. high New York hardcore is 32. 32. Was there a question that the answer was 32 to? Or was it just like 5 5s? 4 5s? 5 9s or 9 5s is the reliability that I go for either way. So I've been working on a couple of things, not the least of which is making sure however, oh my god, and it's what's fun. Thank you, first of all, Reef. You're awesome. $5 smoothie, very cool. And I think I've told you guys this before that like right down the street from where we live here, we get coconuts. We get mango smoothies when it's mango season, but unfortunately that's not right now. So we get coconut, and they cost 25 baht. So the exchange rate right now is about 70 cents. So that is a hell. Boom. That is a hell of a lot of smoothies. So thanks, man. Appreciate it. Seriously, I really do. And here's the thing too, right? So like if you guys do this, in other words, if you provide value to be it emotional or financial or anything to me and Gracie and that sort of thing, and you have any needs, I mean, if you give me $5, I'm not going to give you 5,000. I don't operate a bank that way. It's the inverse of that, actually. But if you need anything like that I can do, anything that I can do, right? And then please just reach out because it would be really neat to be able to sort of, I don't know, pay you back. I don't know. At the end of the day, I mean, I just hope that you guys like show up here and I have this big bucket of money and I'm like, ha, Reef, here's your smoothie money, dude. Let's go down the street and let's get something to drink that involves smooth jazz. I kept my calendar from last year, and of course I have a calendar online, and so I have my calendar for the last decade, right? I'm trying to think when I first signed up for Gmail and then started using their calendar. Well, their calendar app wasn't available when you could first sign up for Gmail, but again, it soon became available. But I'm trying to think how far back my calendar goes because I signed up for Gmail when all there was Gmail, and I signed up for it under my domain, and that was rare. But I remember I also signed up for Gmail, like physically at the Googleplex in the Bay Area. And I'm trying to think why we were there. I think it was like a conference on SEO. Yeah, in fact, yeah, it was a conference on SEO, and I think it was in Mountain View. Maybe anyway, it was amazing. But to give you an idea of like sort of the time of the decade when we were there, the way that we signed up is they had laptops and they had them basically on those, those like, I don't know what they call them, like belly or whatever the stand-up tables are, that like bars and stuff. So they had those big rod in the middle for an umbrella, right? And then laptops around, and in the center were these 100 megabit per second Netgear. They were switches, they weren't hubs, but Cat 5 probably, not Cat 6, laying on the ground, right, like going back into the Googleplex. So there wasn't even Wi-Fi, I'm let's see, when was that? And I know for a fact that Wi-Fi was absolutely out at that time. I was working on another radio station project at the time, actually. And I was also working I had clients, I had like retail clients, and their big sort of product they were selling online was jeans and Ugg boots. And they were just killing it, And so I was learning SEO way back then. Mariano, by the way, is more up to date on SEO than I am today, for sure. And he's very skilled at that. Yesterday, when I completely screwed up the scheduling of the live stream, Mariano sends me an email and he's like, man, I really love to listen to you, but I'm going to be on the Autobahn. I'm like, no big whoop. Sorry, Mike, I'd love to join you for lunch, but I'm buying a Ferrari this Saturday because I'm amazing. Thanks, buddy. Her only baby, just the one, because only child, best job ever. It's been, hey, okay, cool. I'm really sorry that your name totally looks familiar, as does your face. But I'm like, Gregory, but I mean, I haven't done a live stream in 2 months, right? So it's just like, our baby girl, thanks. I like being able to participate. She's awesome. I mean, I'm biased, but so here's the thing, right? So this whole new way of learning online, and it's not new for like me, who was in IT in higher ed. I mean, that was just like, oh my God, when the hell is any professor over the age of 50 going to get their act together and actually teach online in addition to face-to-face online? You need to supplement your learning that way, because otherwise you're simply effectively leaving money on the table, in the sense that your customers, who are these students that were born with a phone in their hands. University of San Diego, where I worked, move-in weekend, basically, when all the students would, show up, the average was 5 devices. So they had a phone, they had a tablet, they had a laptop, they had a desktop, and they had a smart TV, and a wireless printer and other things like that. Some of them had 2 gaming machines. Some of them had a desktop machine. Some of them had a gaming machine. We hooked all this stuff up for them. Because when you pay $250,000 for a bachelor's degree and you show up with your parents, guess what? We install all the gear for you. So, experience economy. Charge more, provide more. Simple, right? Bach. I'll be Bach. Whereabouts in Oklahoma? I've been rekindling relationships with my buddies that I grew up with in radio. And for some reason, Oklahoma and New Mexico, those 2 markets have been sort of showing up in my field of view lately. New Mexico, I kind of understand, right? Because there's a lot of that in the news based on Virgin Galactic, for one. But also sort of anyway. So Oklahoma, New Mexico, for some reason, those 2 states have been showing up in my windscreen lately. Take a Leo, dude. Absolutely. Go for it. I will watch you drink that. I'll be your designated driver. How's that? I'll be your designated grabber. I'll push the button. So, she does, right? I mean, well, she is like younger, of course, than I am, but she's also, I think she looks significantly south of 36, which is good because I act south of 26. So got that going for me. Going to check out a new toys Harley shop unboxed yesterday. Ah, very cool, man. And in where are you? I mean, I know you're in, Thailand. But where specifically did you land recently with your condo? I haven't, and it's nothing personal, right? I haven't watched any videos lately. I mean, for example, I'm going live this morning, So yesterday I missed scheduled, and part of it was going to be to test some gear. I'm glad I didn't do it, actually, because it would have been a fumble. But then I completely forgot about it, and I get out of this video shoot basically that I did with my buddy. And I looked down, Gracie sent me a message. She's like, everybody's waiting. It's like, oh, crap. So that was a drag. So anyway. Last time I got a live stream while it was happening, these last recordings, was shortly after Gracie arrived. Oh, wow. So March. Yeah. And, to be fair, I haven't. Yo, what's up, Dave? How are you? Glad you're here. Welcome to the Cool Kids table. I'm quite certain I will not be the only person welcoming you here, which is very cool. So if you notice, let's see, I never do it the right way. So here's right. So this is StreamYard. And so I have a paid version. The paid version I have is just like $10 because obviously I wasn't using this that much. And my disposable income, which is, it's not, I hate that term. Because it's like, I mean, if you're what are you going to throw your money in a fireplace? No. I mean, I'm actually doing something with it. It's just that, I don't necessarily need to do that, right? I mean, I could just sit around and watch TV or watch YouTube videos, quite frankly. I don't have to create radio stations. I don't have to be a content creator of audio and video and that sort of thing. It's very interesting. So, again, you guys know that I like radio, which is an understatement. But I also have this radio thing. She is actually, thanks Reef for asking, she's over there. She's sitting there, but she's also talking with her daughter and her daughter's teacher. I almost said daughter's professor. I'm just so used to, but yeah. And about, sort of the next year's worth of classes that she chooses. So as you might guess, right, you don't get to choose whether you teach English or you take English or not. English, math, science, all that. And then there's this other group of classes that are called, remind me, honey, TLS? She may or may not be listening. She's actually, her headphones are on and she did not hear me just say that. So she's engaged with her daughter / teacher, which is good. Anyway, it's a 3-letter abbreviation. There's a T in there, I believe. And basically what it is the child, with the help of the parents, making a commitment to one of, and this is just like one of the, like, so when I was in junior high, for example, there were, I believe, 7 periods during the day. There was 4 and then a lunch and then 2 more. And then the lunch one, like in each period was like, I don't know, like let's say for the sake of argument, like 45 minutes to an hour, right? So that was like the first 4. And then the lunch one was broken up into 3 sections. And so you either went to class right away, and then you went to lunch, and then you went back to class, or you went to lunch, and then class, or you went to class, lunch. And that was basically lunch period, and that was broken up into 3. And then that way, of course, because you can't have every single student into the lunch. Anyway, the point is that we had like 7 periods during the day. And one of those for her is this choice. And it is dressmaking, agriculture, plumbing and welding, and a 4th one that I don't recall. And none of them, I thought, were of any degree of certainly global relevance, with the exception of plumbing and welding. However, based on where she lives in the province and the culture over there, I didn't think it would be necessarily comfortable to go into welding. But then I thought, well, no, this is actually like really, like as a boy, right? When I was in junior high, like I got to take, they called it chef's class. So I learned how to like cook and do some things. I mean, heaven forbid they called it home ec, right? But it was like, so anyway, the point is that, there's like, there's stereotypes, and I get that. But I also realized that there's some degree of machismo that occurs in that culture, and I didn't want to necessarily that's the wrong word, provide a platform where that could be further exercised to the negative way. Now, my choice would be like, well, just go to take calculus, but not available, unfortunately, at the age of 14 or 15 there in the province. And so anyway, so we went with agriculture, because what I learned actually about the whole, like what they refer to as plumbing and welding, which actually Gracie took too, is that like the welding, like you don't get a helmet, like you don't actually weld, you literally make like drama, that's not right. What do you call like when you make a model? Something. Anyway, with like glue and plastic, and you don't actually like, you're not like welding. And so I was like, well, I'll forget it. I mean, because that would, I think being able to like arc weld, like, and make it almost look like art, that's fantastic, amazing skill. But again, as I've mentioned to you before, she is going to be an electrical engineer and go to school in Singapore. And her goal is to get a mountain bike. So somewhere in the middle, I'm quite certain we'll meet. However, if I have anything to do with the recommendation of where she goes to university, it will not be in the Philippines, unless, of course, in the next 3 years, they develop world-class universities somehow. But I also do not have a flying car. So, Robert Mack, hello. Good to see you, buddy. Fist bump. Hey, Dave, what's going on, man? Oh, so yeah, so that was the other thing I was talking about. So I'm going live, right? And I kind of knew what day it was, but didn't really. Because usually what I do is I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go live today. Let's say I wake up, right? And then I'm like, oh, no, it's Saturday. So like 17 of my friends are going live at like 9 o'clock on Saturday. I'm like, and then Sunday, like the other half of them, another like 8 to 10, go. And I can't remember what days Dana goes live. I haven't seen one of his videos in forever. I occasionally pop in on a live stream. And why is that? I mean, I don't love him less. I can tell you that right now. But I have these, these projects that I'm working on, right? So I have like, this is the schedule for KISS. I added 43 new DJs. in the last week. And I have this section in yellow. These are all additional DJ shows that I'm going to be adding, and I have to program them. And the goal is to get it to do it automatically. So therefore, the producer or the production company or the DJ himself, actually, their weekly shows either come in via FTP or it comes in via Dropbox or Google Drive, which is ridiculous. It's reliably unreliable, Google Drive. And I'm like, do you guys not get the internet? Like, did you just basically take the people that you hired from McJobs into Google and be like, oh, yeah, you guys are in charge of Google Drive? I mean, come on, figure it out, guy. Whereas, like, Dropbox, very reliable, very, very reliable. To be fair, I pay $100 a year for Dropbox. I pay $0 for Google. So maybe that's my issue. The downside is I can't just say to someone, oh, yeah, the distribution you've been doing with Google Drive, I need you to switch that to Dropbox. They're like, no. Fine, they have a process. But anyway, all of that comes in automatically. The automation system then picks it up. It basically filters what's there and plays this week's show this week. And many shows will provide me with an MP3 of that show. But then they also, in the folder, right, they also provide me with like a promo that's based on this channel. So, for example, I get promos from Asia Pop 40 for BKK.FM and Kiss FM. Kiss FM Patia, 91.75. And so that's been like really fun for me, but it's also time consuming. And honestly, I balance my time sitting in this chair and laying down on the bed, icing my back and neck, and going to my chiropractor. So, you know, if you're ever seeking out a balanced lifestyle, don't email mikes@livemyassoff.com because I will be like, well, you know, there's Tylenol, right? But see, here's the thing too, right? Is that I'm doing all of this now, and I am very certain that in the future, instead of sitting here in the morning, one of the things that Gracie, thank God, has been sort of really motivating us to do is get out of here around 7 o'clock and go for a walk for like an hour and a half sometimes. And the neat thing is that on the way back, usually what we'll do is we'll pick up, you know, vegetables and groceries and things like that at the markets. So, and so I don't know. I mean, I know I was joking more than anything else, but I mean, Van Dorn is like literally I'd never heard that last name until I knew of Sander Van Dorn years ago, the EDM DJ. Is that a common last name from where you're from, Mark? So asking you if you know Sander Van Dorn is kind of like saying, I don't know, Mike, do you know Dave Smith from the East Coast of the United States? Yeah, I know that one. Diorama. Thank you very much, Patrick. Appreciate it. So here's an interesting, I mean, this just popped into my head because your name is Patrick. So a new friend of mine, Patrick, shows up at a place where a bunch of us were just like hanging out yesterday afternoon. And he is from Pattaya, and he actually came up here to Bangkok with the sole purpose of getting his first shot. And went through the process, like he stayed like near the hospital, and then, you know, they moved him around and got it. It was less than elegant the way that they organized it, but nonetheless, his solution was available by the end of more hours than he would have liked to have waited, but he got his shot. And then he's heading back down to Pattaya, right? And I'm thinking, okay, well, I mean, if there's any sort of interprovincial travel that's allowed, one could argue that that's probably the one they should encourage. If you're going to go to the next province, you know, do it because you're getting a shot, right? I mean, so that's kind of... Anyway, high school lunch was scheduled with... Yeah, and where did you go to high school? So I'm graduating class of 86 in high school. So basically, that was my 83... So our high school was 3 years. And then before that was junior high, which was weird. It was 2 years, right? And middle school is what it's called in most things. And in fact, that's the way it is now. The way it is now is 4 years of high school, which of course is very common everywhere. So you actually have freshmen. But I will tell you that I actually thought it was very comfortable for me after I learned the sort of more common way, which is, 4 years of high school, freshman, junior, sophomore, junior, senior. Because it seemed as though the growth delta between the age of 13 and a half-ish, right? Because not everyone is born, and like 15 and a half-ish, right? It's big. In other words, like the delta between freshmen and sophomores was this like physical, like your height grows, right? But it was also some degree of maturity. There was that sort of puberty thing where it's like, if you're in junior high and you have, or middle school, and you have acne, it's like, well, right, because we all do, and we all have braces, and we all have, right? And then you get to high school, and that's sort of, for the most part, you kind of expect that to wear away. I will tell you that when I was in high school, my acne was so bad. I was on Accutane, if you've ever heard of that. And in fact, I think my parents and I needed to sign something, which, at 15, what does your signature mean, right? But the point is that I said, yeah, sure, you can poison me. But it wasn't just because, oh, yeah, I really want beautiful skin. I mean, I have pockmarks like on my back too, but I had this cystic acne that was so bad that they were like, look, this could turn into something. I don't believe it was cancer, but this could turn into something really bad, not just like scars and, white pimple thingies everywhere. So you're not going to be able to do the Miss America pageant this summer. But let's focus on, getting your calves accentuated by wearing heels for next summer, dude. But yeah, so I mean, it was a big change. And so looking back, it's like, 3 years of high school, that kind of like made sense. We were more the same, and and I'm all about individuality, but I can tell you that at that age, my experience is that the closer you are to sort of having at least a group of people that share the same beliefs potentially and behaviors and look, it's also helpful too, especially where I grew up, which was ridiculously the same. And I mean, in other words, like when you went clothes shopping, when you went back to school shopping in the fall, Nikes, and of course our school colors were red and white. So you had to get white leather Nikes with the red stripe. I mean, and this is a long time ago. You're probably like, well, Mike, actually women have been allowed to vote since you went to high school. Oh, really? So yeah, there's probably a big delta in behavior that I'm totally missing and am immature to. But nonetheless, that was sort of my experience back then. But yeah, 3 years of high school, it actually kind of, I don't know, it sort of made sense. See, look at that, 10 feet. She's so American. I would have been like, oh yeah, she's basically about 4 meters away from me because I'm so Western. I'm so Eastern now. I'm so you're like European Asian. Basically, all I'm trying to do is impress Mariano by using meters. Welded replacement frame sections from crash damage. Arc welding, or did you go oxyacetylene? I could just see you there in the garage with your pocketbook and your car and your car keys, met there. Timor is really nice. I would go back there, but I'm a beach bum. There's an area where many Filipinos people hang out. Yeah, I get it, Reef. I am a beach bum too, and I'll tell you, here's what's crazy, dude. Until I came to Thailand, I was not a city guy. I've been to New York. I grew up near Boston. I would go into Boston, but I would always be very excited about leaving Boston to go back home, which was, 20 miles south, but it was on the coast, it was on the beach, it was on the water. Obviously, when I moved out of my parents' house to finish up, undergrad, I moved to San Diego, and I didn't move to San Diego County, like 15 miles. No, I mean, I literally was like, walk out, look down the street. There's the Pacific, because I'm totally a beach guy, and I get a ton of positive energy from that and the ocean and just all of it. But I came to Bangkok and I dug it, and then I came back and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of nice. And then I came back and I stayed a few more days, and then Gracie and I met, and then we would come back to Bangkok, and she's come to Bangkok by herself twice, right? To get your, see, look at that.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Right on. Are you smelling the back of my neck? That's pretty romantic. It's kind of a Filipino thing. No big whoop. So I've got to tell you, if there's any relationship advice I can ever give any of you, and I just fell into this, but marry a chef. Because, wow. I mean, okay, a lot of you guys will be like, what do you like about Thailand? Well, the girls or the beach or the weather or the cost of living or the fact that you go down the street and on the sidewalk for regardless of how much it costs. Even if it was $10, you'd probably be like, I don't care because it's so damn good. Best food in the entire world is made on the sidewalk in Thailand, right? So imagine that, but having your wife make it, like over there. And in fact, to the point where like we walk down the street and it's like, oh man, that smells so good. And we buy it, and we bring it home, and it's just like, and Gracie, to her credit, and she's pretty humble, quite frankly, but she's like, I could make this better. I'm like, indeed. Whereas before I'd be like, oh yeah, right, bring it. Come on, I don't know how to cook. I know how to reheat. This is my skill set in that kitchen. And no, she's excellent, excellent cook. And she tries new things. She like last night we're watching and she like opens up her phone, shows it to me, and this is like a YouTube video, I believe. Could be TikTok. Over 20,000 followers on TikTok, by the way, for Gracie Okate Somerville. High five, huge. Over 20,000, amazing. And there's a picture of like a tomato, and she's like, oh yeah, so I'm going to make for dinner tomorrow night. And I'm like, and I think the first thing I think to myself is how? Like, who has that skill set? I mean, it's like basically me coming up to her and say, well, honey, here's how I'm going to double integrate this constant. What? Why would you? And it's just such an amazing skill that I don't understand art. I don't like Dana, right? Great friend of mine. You guys know Dana. You probably watch him all the time. And you know that we've done this Bangkok Strange thing. And by the way, Dana, if you or anybody else is watching this, I need to report to you that the last time I was in Tesco Lotus on Nut, I'm standing there and some guy comes up and he does the very common thing that many of you YouTubers might experience. Oh, I know you. You're the YouTube guy. I'm like, oh, hi. How are you doing? Yes, I'm YouTube. One of very few on the channel or on the platform. Anyway, wonderful guy. In fact, if I had my phone, I think I got his line connection. Regardless, he said, oh yeah, I need him, from Live My Ass Off and the crazy shirts or whatever, right? The crazy shirts. But Dana, honestly, like one of the first, within less than 30 seconds, when are you guys going to do Bangkok Strange again? So that's pretty good. We need BS. We do need BS. Wait. Did you do it again? Dude. Thank you. Sorry, I thought you guys were in different areas from Gracie's. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, thank you. My parents are actually in a different area too, so you want to donate to the family. No, I'm teasing them. Thank you, Reef. Seriously, that's really awesome, dude. 300. That's over 330 baht, bro. You know how much food we can buy for 300? We bought like 2 huge bags yesterday, and I bought 6 chicken legs, which the drumstick and the hip thing, 200 baht, and food in the freezer for weeks. So thanks, Reef. You're really cool. I hope you come here and we hang out, man. I miss Lumpini Park and everything about Lumpini Park, Patrick. Thank you very much. I appreciate the encouragement. I will actually make sure I head over there because of that recommendation. Thank you so much. I like doing the stuff over there too. And I also want to thank you guys for saying hi to one another. And how far? So this comment is 8:50. Oh, look at me. I'm only 20 minutes behind in my comments. It's like a major triumph, right? When I get, and I will tell you the one thing that bothers me about StreamYard, which is so freaking easy to fix technically, is that they don't pop up the super chats the minute they happen, like would happen in YouTube. Now, I do have a plugin that I got for Chrome where I can effectively display the comments on the screen like I can with StreamYard. However, I completely forgot I owned that until just now when I told you, and so therefore that's why I'm not using that, and I'm using StreamYard. The other thing I like about StreamYard is you schedule everything within basically one click, so that's kind of nice. But nice. My name is pretty common in my family. As it turns out, most people in my family, they share the same last name. Well played, sir. Hit puberty when I was 26. Yeah, well, emotionally, I didn't hit it till I was about 26 either, Joe. It was Mike and Heels, oh my God, remove picture. Burn it into your brain, Chris. Absolutely. You can't unthink that. Mm-hmm. I also want you to add to that visual with the heels I'm going to go, we have a tartan, right? Is a Somerville. We have the Somerville tartan. So I'm going to throw kilt in there because wearing a kilt, like a long one with high heels, is almost like counterintuitive. It's kind of like the girls in Southern California that wear a jeans miniskirt with Ugg boots and believe that is a fashion statement. I believe it is absolutely a fashion statement. It says, I am an idiot. And don't date me because I haven't learned how to dress myself. And when I leave this school, I will be living in my mom's basement. I mean, no judgment. It's not like I really. Those are the T-shirts they wear, and it's actually hard to read because all of that data is visible there in English, right? And so it's like, my God. I try not to hold beliefs and instead follow where the evidence leads. Wow. Okay. That was like a $6 super chat right there in data. MIG welding? Yeah. I'm more of a tungsten inert gas guy, but hey, you know what? We all have our big pleasures. Joe says hi again. She says hi back. Living in a small town, a visit to Bangkok is always a joy. That's an interesting point because I grew up in a small town, and I want to go with 15,000 residents, maybe over 25,000 now. But you know, and the silly real estate, the housing is so expensive there. I mean, but you know, the good news there is that they generate a ridiculous amount of money in property taxes, along with others, you know, but the because of that, the schools, I mean, the dynamite schools, they can really afford to spend. The sweet corn soup looks good. So clearly, Joe has been watching your YouTube channel, and yeah, that I will tell you that sweet corn soup is really good. And here's what's interesting about that: one could argue, okay, so sweet corn soup, how is that different than buying a can of soup? Basically, like it. Vaughn's was the grocery store that was very popular in Southern California. Stop and Shop if you're from if you're from New England, and just dumping that can of corn into a bowl and eating it, right? But no. This was infinitely better. It was quite good. So I did. Thank you for asking, Joe. I actually had the pigeon cam out there, but then what I use is an app that basically is installed on the phone, and then I open up the app here on my laptop, and I did that, but I couldn't. Make it smaller because I couldn't crop it because of what I was using. Because of StreamYard, you can't do that. And so then what ends up happening is it ends up looking like this, which is not real desirable, right? And so, yeah, you like your picture, Joe? So basically it ended up looking like that, you know, with let me choose a better background. How's that? Rather than Joe's gardener's penis brand. How's that? Anyway, so it looks like this, and it was just like cheesy and stuff. So anyway, but I think I was just about to say, but tomorrow I will, but no, I won't tomorrow because again, every person that I know does a live stream Saturdays at 9 a.m. So I won't do that tomorrow. But anyway, yeah. So to answer your question, Joe, I actually did. I tested it out, and it looks nice down there, as it turns out. But I didn't continue with it. If I was using OBS, then I definitely would, and probably will during my next live stream. How's that? Now, Dave, if you're still here, you live stream now once a week, right? Like Tuesday mornings, and the rest of it you spend building your mansion. 3 weeks in 18, 19, 20, and 21, no. But rather, 2021, no. Got it. Going to wait for the sandbox scam to go away. I look forward to meeting you both. Oh, Reef, that's thank you. I'm really thrilled about that. You know, I mean, selfishly, I wish you'd just like come over. But I understand the sandbox is not anything that is good. They're not really selling a whole lot of joy, at least the way that the sales pitch is presumably engineered currently. You know, I mean, I can tell you right now that if I was physically in San Diego right now, but be it with Gracie or not, we would absolutely go through the sandbox because I'd be like, forget it, dude. I mean, August, September, and even a little bit of October in San Diego is really nice. It's actually quite warm. May and June in San Diego is horrible. If you guys don't know, living there, you refer to it as May gray and June gloom because there is this marine layer that basically just sits there. And of course, I live near the coast. So therefore, it sits over my house like this gray cloud over you to the point where I can tell you that in March of 2019, before I moved here permanently, I was in such a lousy mood. I went to Maui for like 2.5 weeks. Cost like $8,000. I mean, and I don't overspend when I'm there, but I had rented a car because you got to have a car. The bus system there is lousy. But I mean, mornings, like I would walk to meetings almost every morning. I would walk to breakfast every morning from this condo that was right there in Lahaina, if you guys know Maui. And, but you had a car, and it boosted my mood. And one could argue, well, Mike, it only cost you $400 in medication and therapy to be able to feel good, but you spent all this money with it. And I'll tell you, there was this one day I was there, and it was literally one of the best times of my life. I drove my car, if you guys know Maui. So I drove down and then past Wailea, right? And then you get to Wailea is arguably a little bit more modern than the other, certainly more modern, newer than Lahaina, right? So you go down and then you go past Wailea, and then the road gets narrower and narrower and narrower, and you end up with just like these little people like selling fruit on the side of the road. And I pulled over in this little dirt lot, and there's this little jetty that went out probably about 10 or 20 meters. See that? Thank you, Mariano, very much. And there was a guy out there fishing. I sat there, like in the car, windows down. Occasionally I would turn the AC on, but for the most part, the seat was reclined a little bit, and I'm staring out at the ocean, and I'm staring and staring and staring. I'm sure you guys have done that before. I did that for 8 hours, man. And that was one of the best. Oh my God. It was awesome. It was truly awesome. It was extraordinarily ordinary. I mean, I literally just sat there and stared at the Pacific and watched this guy. And one of the best moments of that is there was a guy, he parks his van, these old vans, right, that you see from like the stand, the very sort of the native Hawaiians, right? He had this like little van, and it was just like this old, Dodge probably. And he went fishing, and he was fishing for like 3 or 4 hours, and he comes back and he's like, hey man, do you know what the date is? And I was like, yeah, I get you, dude. I don't know what day of the week it is. I don't care. I'm like, you are living the dream. You are my buddy. So I looked down at like my watch or whatever, and I said, yeah, it's the, whatever day it was. He's like, all right, man. And he's just like chilling out, He goes back out, fishes a little bit more, comes back, closes up his van, puts everything in, walks around to the front door. And, we kind of like just, hey, man, how you doing? He looks at me, he goes, hey, thanks for that date, man. And then he just leaves. And I'm like, I think I appreciate the little things. But when he said that, I was just like, And it was one of those like, I got to ingest this. I got to remember this. I got to be able to tell this story with extreme clarity, appreciation, gratitude, love for this guy's behavior years later. And, truly, it was over 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And I still think about that. I will be somewhere, and then something will occur, and I guess it's probably a scenario that's pleasurable around me, right? And I'll pause, and I'll think to myself, and in my mind, I will hear, thanks for that date, man. Who does that, right? Except genuinely cool, freaking people like Reef. So anyway, that was a good one. Someone's went back for... Well, her data is never embellished, actually. She was actually completely accurate. It was... Okay, here you go. So you guys have bought chicken on the side of the road in Bangkok. It's pretty friggin' awesome, right? And then they have... So we bought... I bought chicken legs, which is like nothing, no marinade or anything, right? But then she's like, hey, so buy some Coca-Cola on the way home, right? And so obviously, there's caramel, right? And then there's actual sugar, because the Coke is here in Thailand and not in the United States, where there's high fructose corn syrup in everything, including sneakers. And she put however much she put in there, and then some soy sauce and a little bit of spice. And I was just like, you got to be kidding. I mean, it was some of the best chicken I've ever had in my life. Not only did I have thirds on the chicken, I had thirds on the rice. And afterwards I laid down and I'm like, oh my God, food coma. I mean, I just was like, and maybe you guys have experienced this in the United States. For some reason, we have this big common desire and behavior around Thanksgiving to eat more than we normally would. And somehow that is enjoying the fruits of our labor, getting diabetes on a Thursday afternoon in November. And then we lay down, right? And then once we regain ourselves and the tryptophan wears off, then we get up and we're like, should probably have a couple pieces of pie, And so I did that. I Thanksgivinged out. I ate the Christmas goose basically, and it was outstanding. Uh, Prop up pick. Oh, the one you sent me. Joe sent me these amazing little like memes, almost really, but it's just like actual on bkk.fm. I think he's freaking awesome. American system of funding schools via property tax is a failure in improv. Yeah, I would not disagree with that. My suggestion is to double property sales tax and repeal property. Well, again, it depends. I mean, every state is different, right? I can tell you that property tax apparently in the state of tech, but it's community based, like you said. I mean, in Massachusetts, there's plenty of communities that are lame, but where I grew up and a couple of the other communities next door, there's affluence, and it's So anyway, it works somewhere. Good morning. Good to see you, sir. Thailand Digital Nomad. Are you physically here too? Again, I apologize. I haven't watched videos in general, so I haven't seen anything by you. But thank you actually for coming by and making a nice comment on one of my videos recently. Appreciate it. Psh. Oh, I'm telling you, I think Joe is doing really, really well. Man, you're so cool. Look at you, like high-fiving everybody. Did you chest bump anybody? I hope you did. Best time ever to be here in time. So clearly you're here. People need to get out of their basements. We are still having I got to tell you, me too. And I'm not doing what we were like. I will tell you that the thing that I was going to say disappointed, that I'm less than thrilled about, but I know it's going to happen, so I'm not worried, is that after Gracie and I got, the paperwork and got married, right? As you might guess, my mom, and probably hers too, in a different way, wanted a wedding picture, right? Well, where we got married, if you saw the post that Dana and Jib put on their Facebook and then shared with us, is we basically got married at the DMV. But the paperwork we have is quite neat too, because it's also in Thai, right? So it's kind of like this scroll. I feel like we have the Torah that proves we're married, translated in English, of course, by now. But nonetheless, we got our picture taken in a parking lot in front of a cool fountain and a little, I don't know, statue of some kind. So that was neat. But where I want us to get our look at the product placement, guys. I just like randomly threw my finger up and said, "Oh, look, lifestyle juicery." Aren't I all of a sudden very thirsty? And I can squelch that thirst at lifestylejuicery.com. Tell your friends. I want us to get our picture taken in wedding attire ish, as is would be at the beach in Thailand. Koh Phangan, next to Koh Ma, in Mae Had, if you guys know where that is. So Koh Phangan, basically the pier, right? And then north of the pier, and you basically are going north, but then you go a little bit east, just simply because of the curvature of the island. But then there's Koh Ma, and Koh Ma is basically like this isthmus that goes out to this other little island, in the sense that like the beach just simply continues, and then there's like a hill of stuff, and in that hill there's nothing, right? But before that there's like resort, but there's and anyway, I've been there a couple times, and to the point where I was, this is so Thai, right? It's just so awesomely Thai, is that I go there and I walk in and I say, okay, well, I think I either had like a reservation for one night or something on here, Agoda, just to have one, right? So I get there and I stay, and it was like 750 baht a night. Bungalow right on the beach. Actually, I know what it was. I didn't have a reservation. I was just like cruising around the island and went down a dirt road because there was a wooden sign that looked like it had been there 30 years and almost destroyed. But it said like, Blech. And I was like, ooh, beach. So I went down the island that says beach, right? Or around the dirt road that goes beach. And I'm heading down this hill, and there's potholes like the size of, wheelbarrows. And I'm like doing this. I'm like, well, it's a rental, so I should be good. No worries. And I get down, and there's beach, right? And then there's this talking bird. And like, to the point where it just, it's a mocking bird effectively, right? But so I drive up, and as I drive up and I turn my motorbike off, it makes the sound of the motorbike, right? So I'm like, okay, yeah, it probably hears motorbikes all day long, and so now it does that. And I walk by it, and I look in, and I'm like, hey, and it literally says effectively to me, Sawadee ka. And I'm like, oh, dude, we are so hanging out, right? And then so we go in, and I walk like over this bridge thingy over this little river, and there's this beach, and this is Koma, right? And I'm like, this is just awesome. And I look at, there's these bungalows. Shocker, 1 of 7 was actually occupied, and this was like a year ago. And so I go back. I said, well, how much? And she says, well, it's like $750 or whatever she said it was, and free, basically, right? And so then I stay there like 1 night, 2 nights, 3 nights, kind of thing. And I didn't know how long I was going to stay there. I didn't have any plans. In fact, the only reason I left there at the time I did was because I was coming back to the Canadian Embassy. I had an appointment, and I needed to get my passport paperwork together to get my Canadian passport. So I'm there, and I'm hanging out. Did a couple of live streams, I think, with Dana. And it's gorgeous, right? It's a beautiful beach. And I'm taking pictures of this, and I'm sending it to buddies like Dana. Now, Dana has seen photos of this beach on Instagram for years, right? And it was just packed regularly. Not necessarily in July and August when arguably it's low season, but at least once a month, Koh Phangan was, flooded with people because of the, full moon party. And then they'd have, half moon parties like in the middle of so, I mean, they were able to generate revenue and have a significant, but this was effectively like on the other end of the island. Like if you know where the full moon parties occur, they're basically all the way down the southwest side. And this was like northwest-ish side. Anyway, it was close to meetings. It was great. It was like, if it wasn't pouring rain, I could actually like drive the motorbike, go to meetings. I think it was like noon or 9 or 10 in the morning. Anyway, it was awesome. Afterwards, we went to this fishing village, had, coffee and stuff. So anyways, a really neat place to hang out. And so I get up in the morning. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to stay one more night. I'm going to stay one more night. And then she's like, got to the point where she says, well, you've been here a couple nights. How about, I got, and I didn't bargain this. This is just how she offered. And this is my example of this is just so wonderfully Thai. I think that by the time I was leaving, she was charging me like 600 or 650 baht a night, to the point where sometimes I would go into there, and I'm by myself because Gracie unfortunately hadn't gotten here yet. And the dinners I would have, sometimes the dinners would be like 250, 300 baht. So like half my rent for the night, right, at this beachfront bungalow. It was literally beachfront. Like in other words, they didn't have to, but they did. In the mornings, I would be out on the balcony having coffee, and they would be sweeping the sand off of the bottom steps. And there was only like 2 or 3 steps of this balcony because it had blown up, just from wind and stuff. And I'm like, lottery. This is just, come on, man. Anyway, so I was, grateful to be able to experience that. But also, I drove around too, but there were nights where I'm just like, no, you know what? It's like 5 o'clock. I'm just going to stay here. I'm going to experience. I'm going to take a look at, ingest the sunset, walk around, do a couple live streams, that sort of thing, hang out with you guys. It's show Gracie, hey, guess where we're coming back to, honey? And it was a couple of sunsets were just absolutely gorgeous. And I would literally just sit there in this rope swing for like 3 or 4 days, 3 or 4 hours. And it was just wonderful. Then I'm like, we are going to definitely come back here. This is going to be where we get our wedding photo to send to my mom, her mom, and that sort of thing. And that I miss. I wish we had the ability to, use our AirAsia pass or what did I buy? I have so many credits on airlines right now. It is a management challenge. I'm grateful that a lot of these airlines are, extending it, right? Like, so for example, like the AirAsia pass, it was like, how much were those, Dave? It was just over $100, I think, this year. Maybe it was $100. Anyway, regardless, Gracie and I has an AirAsia pass. So therefore, you pay one price, right? And I think they were available around March, and then they were like valid until like the end of November of this year, December. And they extended them through March of next year. So that's awesome. So I'm not worried. I mean, I know that like we're going to be able to travel again. And we'll be able to get down there. It's just that, I can't use them right now. And I have credits on VietJet, and we have credits on VietJet, Knock Air. I mean, all of them. And so anyway, yeah, it's a great time, and I still dig it here, dude. And the icing will be, right, when I get to be able to cruise around, when I can get down to Bangkok, when we... Pattaya from Bangkok, when we're able to get down there, there will be, things I sort of need to do in the sense that I have committed to doing this work. for free, but it's emotional payment, not financial as of yet, but I absolutely am architecting it so that it will be financially rewarding down in Kiss FM in Pattaya. And so I need to have a meeting with the owner. We need to talk over, certain priorities, which of course we can do on the phone, but and I see the station is going global and being able to basically have a circle of friends in that station, or whatever you want to call it, a group, a community that is reminded of their awesome time in Pattaya, however they experienced that, whatever that showed up as, via listening to Kiss FM once they're home, because that's what I did. And I'm like, this is so easy. And it was such a nice reminder of things that occurred when I was over there. It was the same reason I would listen to Phuket FM. And but those guys, they have a really great brand down there, and they have 2 frequencies, so they're covering the whole island, and of course they're on the internet, so they're doing a really good job down there. I tell you what, let me throw that up there in case you guys are around here, to the point of everything's going quite well here in Thailand. But let me go over to here because I want to see. Well, you guys can't really see it real well, but there's basically 3 logos. This is the one that we normally use for Kiss. And it's been used for years. And so it's a very well-known brand, like in the local market. This is one that I found the other day, and I kind of like it. It's a little puffy and that sort of thing. The Kiss is smaller, but the headphones are like kind of neat. This one was used on and off, and I'm not real thrilled with it because I really like how this is like Kiss, because the frequency, quite frankly, is not really relevant. I mean, yes, there are people that actually have FM radios. Most of those people are also people that own cars, and so that's good news. But at the end of the day, there is Pratam Nak Hill, and so our antenna is not on the top of Pratam Nak Hill. So we're basically giving away, or giving up, rather, a lot of possible customers that we can engage with over in Jomtien. Not the least of which, actually, is this. I guess it's a laundromat. Basically, they will do your laundry for you, but they also Android box. Oh, I want to hear about that. Okay. Yeah, I did some glamping when I was in. What was the name of that? It was near. The heck is the name of that area? I know exactly where it is on the map, but for some reason the name of it. So Joe just here. Let me hold on. Let me see. I can download this and embarrass myself. Download. It's not Prachep Currycon. For some reason, that just keeps popping up into my head, and I'm gonna have to look it up on the map because it's actually a really cool location where I went glamping, and so basically you get there like if you're in Surat Thani, Nakhon Si Tamarat. My God, I can't believe I didn't remember that. But anyway, so yeah, I did some glamping there, man, which was like really, really cool. And then this is Joe mocking me, Gracie and her sister. Yep. Gracie gets really creative with her Instagram-ing, which is good. 3,500 is that the Android box you're referring to, I believe, or is that how many subscribers you have now? No, probably not. You probably have 1,500, right? That's so cool. Should be here today. We'll make for nice photos. Please don't use a GoPro for the God shots. Really? Okay, fair enough. I will tell you that the Hero 9, dude, I'm a huge fan of that thing. I recorded just under about an hour and a half of video with it yesterday. And it was more like a panning, or not panning. It was more like a, wide angle shot to some degree, because you know how, like, I mean, it can go really. I had it on normal, but the video that it took of me and my buddy chatting was like, it was really cool, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. It's, lifestylejuicery.com is my buddy's website, and he's just a really good guy. He's also a really great leader, and so I wanted to highlight that. Hey, thanks a lot, Dave. You have an amazing day as well. Indeed, I'm also on Facebook. Look at me. What's up, honey? I'm going to get tomatoes. Oh, tomatoes. Okay. Are you going to go to the Udom? Oh. Well, we have plenty of chicken, right? Mm. So the easiest way is to just pull here. Let me show you guys I have this soundproofing going on up here. And basically what I did is I attached it to a piece of cardboard, and then the cardboard was like a box, right? So it had like an edge. And the neat thing about that edge is it slides right into the 4mm space between the door and the door frame. And so it just hangs there. And so that's really helpful with sound deadening of any reflective voice that I get from me going out there. So anyway, so you can just pull that. No, that's the okay, yeah, cool. Just tomatoes? Oh, cool. Is it like stuffed tomatoes? Yeah. Okay, awesome. Love you. You have money? Yeah. Okay, cool. Tomatoes with eggs. Do we need eggs? We have a lot of eggs. Still? Okay. 3,500. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And following up with Dave's. Is what okay? No. Just pull it. It's gonna fall anyway. So just pull. No, don't be. Just pull it off and let it, and then put it on the ground. Yep. Yeah, just put. You can. You can. Yeah, that'll help. Okay, cool. That's great. Thanks. That's cool. Yeah. I got to tell you, I really want to have a studio, but I don't want to have to pay for it. Like, I really, really want to know how to play. I really want to be able to play the piano, but I don't want to take lessons. See you, honey. Love you. Yeah, so it's cool. She goes, I like the walk, and I need the walk too, because of course I will sit all day. And so if I don't get out and walk, then I don't get out and walk. So what I do is I will usually walk I think it's about a kilometer and a half to the Udom Suk market. And then I'll take back roads back. But she takes a motorbike, right, for like 20 baht. It's just these guys right through the back roads, 20 baht each way. Just outstanding. Set it up remotely today. So hold on. Is this you guys talking about anyway, I'm not sure. I apologize. I haven't been sort of following along at home. Yes, Dave, you are cool. The really other neat thing I think about being here right now to Thailand Digital Nomads. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I don't know why. Android box setup. Got it. Okay. I'm trying to think if ooh, look at that. My XYO just increased 9%. Huge fan of XYO. They're a company, XY. They're out of San Diego. They're cryptocurrency. Sorry. They're a blockchain company. Let me say that. And they have a coin, XYO. And they had a conference several years ago. And so I went to the conference and I invested in the company. I think I like $1,000 or something into the company. But the neat thing about being one of the first guys, and then I got like an upgraded VIP pass thingy, so I got to sit in the first three, whatever. It was like another $100. And I'm like, it's a company, it's down the street. I knew where the guys were. They were pretty innovative. They were definitely passionate about their own thing. And their technology effectively is location. Okay, so they have a physical little like octagon shaped puck, and you can put that in things and you can find out where things, physically are. It's not necessarily like GPS tracking, but it's pretty neat. And there's a different bunch of applications that XY can engage in. Anyway, as part of being at the conference, you bought into what's called the 2 commas club. So 2 commas, right? And so because of that, you got 1 million XYO coins, right? And at the time, it was worth literally like 0.0. In fact, I think the value that they gave us for that was simply what we paid. Actually, I think it was more than I think you paid like another $200 for the registration, and you got like $500 worth of a coin that you couldn't sell. It wasn't on any exchange at the time. Anyway, and it was like 0.0, so it was like $500 worth of, so it was like 0.0000001, then you get a million of them. And now it's up to over a penny, so that's pretty good. Pretty good ROI for showing up and judging people. Our keynote speaker, as it turns out, for that conference was, oh my God, I just forgot his name, but he was the guy that played, he was in The Office, and he was also in The Hangover, and I can't remember his name to save my life. I know you guys are going to get it before me. Ed Helm, is it Helm? Well, hold on. Yeah, Helms. Ed Helms. So he was our keynote speaker / comedian / MC for the conference. He was a really good guy. And so it was neat to just sort of chat with, because it was a pretty small conference. It's like, I don't know, 3, maybe 500 people there, less. I mean, I'm used to, like 50,000 people in Las Vegas, right? All learning about cloud technology. And so it was neat. It was really cool. I got to speak to the owners and some of the developers, and one of the guys that was like a total, technology evangelist for the company and stuff. And he was a pretty good guy. He came out on, I get why he did it. He's since gone because he basically doesn't add a whole lot of relevance after the first sort of, first few meetings of getting you pretty pumped up. And then after that, it's like, okay, well, yeah, you're not adding he didn't have a whole lot of technical skills. And of course, in a company like that, that's kind of what you need, as well as marketing people that really know how to like interface and, get the word out. And anyway, so he would come up on stage and he would like put his skateboard down and, skateboard to the center of the stage, which was 10 meters. And then flip the skateboard up and then hold it. And then, and people thought that was like really cool. I'm like, so yeah, anyway, I didn't. But the point is that the company actually has some teeth, and they really did a good job at, well, at the sake of using a statement that's way overused, they really learned how to pivot when, Bitcoin was recently down to, I don't know, like $5,000. Was about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago now. But sent you some new. Oh, did you make? Because Chris made the he made the BKK.FM logo that's in the playing stream. So let me see what you sent. Yeah, that's kind of good. I don't know. It's I haven't decided. I actually still think I'm going to keep using the KISS logo that's got the, the one that's up here in the my upper right, or your upper right, my upper left. Let's see, hold on. This one. It's because it's got the lips on it, but it just says KISS. It's simple, and it's pretty visible. It's really easy to redo. So I think we're going to go for that for now. But the good news, too, is that as of yesterday, 2 days, maybe earlier, anyway, is, if you guys have ever done any sort of branding, especially with like social media and all that, it's like, oh, yeah, we're KISS FM Thailand here, and we're KISS FM Pattaya here. No. So because I realized, like, what do people refer to us as, right? And so for the most part, it seemed like everyone was referring to the station as KISS FM Pattaya, KISS FM Pattaya, KISS FM Pattaya. No one's like, oh yeah, 91.75 FM KISS. No, KISS FM Pattaya. So that's the handle or the hashtag or the the name of the channel kind of thing. So anyway, pretty much everywhere. It's twitter.com/KissFMPattaya, TikTok/KissFMPattaya, YouTube/KissFMPattaya. Actually, no, that's not true. It's not that on YouTube yet because we don't even have 100 subs on that channel. And it really bothered me because I couldn't get a hold of any of the other guys that had been doing the YouTube channels and just try and change the name of it like that. But whatever, people that came and went, basically. Very similar, very, very common, sadly, in radio, but that makes the branding a little bit more of a challenge. But definitely Facebook.com/KissFMPattaya. And so I got pretty much all KissFMPattaya@gmail.com. I mean, all of that. It's very, it's the same everywhere. IG/KissFMPattaya. In the process of getting that, get this, right? So the email address that Instagram has for Instagram.com/KissFMPattaya is a Yahoo address. But Yahoo Mail is so incompetent that not only does the email not come in correctly, but there's no bounce back information. So they don't send any their mail exchanger, their email servers effectively don't send any information back to the, you can't view the header properly. I hate Yahoo email, but it was created so long ago that unfortunately the main email address that they're trying to send a change password to is a Yahoo address from one of the guys that used to work at the station who now lives in the UK. So anyway, we have that. It's just I'm trying to figure out a way to change the email address, quite frankly, without having to simply change the password. So, well, that's a good question, Joe. Hold on, I can tell you guys. Let me see. Let me go over to here, and then go over to here, and then go over to here, here. Whoops, here, here. I think that's the one, right? Yeah. Oop. There we go. So this is actually at the ancient city. If you guys know Bangkok, it is, and you know the BTS line. You know that the furthest extension south on BTS light green, I guess, is Keha, right? And I'm potentially pronouncing that incorrectly, but Keha, whatever, KHEHA, I believe, is how it's written. The phonetical of it, right, is Keha. So let's call it that. About a kilometer south of that is the ancient city. Now, right now, or at least when we went recently, it was about 60% of it was closed. So we got in with 30, and of course we realized this after we paid. Strategic sales pitch, lady. And then already, huh? Wait, raining? Yeah. Really? Your sound is okay outside. Oh, you can't hear me? You can, but it's not. It's not until you get here. It's not loud. Okay, good. That's good to know. So we go there, and then for, I guess it was included in the price, they have a golf cart that drives you around and stuff. And so we went. Anyway, this part was pretty much at the edge, the first third of it was open. So we go here, and Gracie took some amazing pictures. This is the one Joe was asking where this picture was from. The one that you took when we were in the ancient city. Yeah. So that was really fun. But the problem is that Gracie, for probably at least a year, and me too, has been looking at these. Wow. How much? 25. Amazing. 70 cents for fresh tomatoes that taste like tomatoes. There is usually a drone overhead shot of this. It kind of looks like a giant dragon/lizard, and it's got its tail curled around it, and then it's in a moat. It's in a little lake, and then it's got a way to walk, and you kind of walk into the mouth of this thing. Anyway, that's in the ancient city. Unfortunately, that part of it was closed, and it was so. I just said, "Well, hey, let's go to the ancient city one day." It wasn't until a week later that we realized, trying to find where this place is that it literally is in, then I don't know, less than 25-minute grab ride down to the ancient city. Anyway, while we were there, Gracie was taking some fantastic photos, and she's like, "Oh, go do this and stand here and whatever," and then she'd take these little selfies, and totally turned out awesome. So that was really fun too, and we were the only people there. We were there. It was probably June or July, and the only reason I very confident of that is the fact that it was like 100 degrees at like 9:30 in the morning. We got there. I believe it opened at 9, and I'm like, okay, well, let's get there. And we also rented one of these. They're called FOM. FOMM is the manufacturer of the car, and it was. It's an electric car. It's like really, really tiny, and we rented one for like, I don't know, 750 baht a day or something, just to like kind of cruise around. It's got the accelerator paddles on the steering wheel, and it doesn't have an accelerator pedal. It has a brake pedal. But obviously, when you take your hands off the accelerators, there's regenerative braking that slows it down too. And so they're so because of that, they can justify having really shitty brakes on this thing. And but it was, it was kind of fun, and it had air conditioning, and it worked actually, and it didn't use up a whole lot of electricity, and so we cruised down there, so that was like part of the fun. But we were literally like, I think the maximum amount of other people we saw there one time when we were actually sort of in the area where this photo was taken, probably like 8 people maximum we saw. But it was really, anyway, that's obviously a long answer to your question, which all of my answers are, as it turns out, and so anyway, Bob Sears. Hey, buddy. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Glad you're here. Thanks for coming by. It's always good to see the names of the cool kids. I really, really, really appreciate it. Have to watch Tom's video he did on getting a bunch of TV stations and stuff through the box. Tom is Thailand. The box Tom is digital. Oh. Who was I thinking? What was the guy's channel that I met when I was in Phuket? I'm trying to think. I think he might be back up here in Bangkok. Back for a minute. Hey, good to see you, man. Thanks a lot, Dave. What the heck was his name? Or rather, what was his channel's name? Oh, that's horrible that I can't remember it. I met him, actually. We had breakfast. He's Dion, but I'm trying to remember what his channel's name is. And I could have sworn it was Thailand Digital Nomad. Guy, and when I was there, and we met and had breakfast over at what is the name of that beach? Man, I just have such a bad memory, don't I? I can find it on the map though. Bang Tao. That was very cool. So we had a really cool breakfast over there. His condo he was staying at, they had a breakfast available. And so anyway, Dion the Nomad. That's why I'm thinking of that. Yeah, that's the name of his channel. So Cardano, yeah, I mean, look, it's, they all have their relevance, and they all have their popularity, and sometimes their popularity is justified. Other times it's just hype. Sometimes it's, useful. Sometimes it's not. My big complaint about, Bitcoin is the speed with which you can do transactions as well as the cost. I mean, it's ridiculous. 20 transactions or 23. I think even Ethereum, the standard Ethereum blockchain, I don't think you can do more than 40 transactions. I think it's like actually less than 30 maybe transactions per second, which is ridiculous. I mean, Visa does 20,000. Okay. How much did Alibaba during 11/11? They do 400,000 transactions per second. So I mean, you think, oh, geez, I really wish I could use Bitcoin with Alibaba. Come on, dude. It's like, oh, yeah, I bought something, and eventually, the 399,000 people in front of me, once they get through the queue, then I'll be able to actually get some instant gratification. Forget it. People aren't going to stand for that. Obviously, there's other solutions, and I get that, not the least of which is the Tangle. I'm a big fan of that. And yeah, there's some other great technologies. I really love the technology, which I think is really cool. XY, I just kind of like the company. So how am I doing with the Toms? So the good news, Joe, first of all, thank you for sending those to me. Joe sent us a care package. Because Tums are very difficult to buy here in the sense that I can buy them. I can have them sent here. But it's very expensive. And so I didn't realize he was going to do this, but I effectively outsourced the shipping to Joe. And I believe he spent close to 50, if not more dollars. I still have the box actually with the stamp on it. On shipping us a box of really cool things like candies and Tums was one of them. And anyway, so the good news is that I haven't needed them. That's the greatest news. But so therefore they're lasting a long time. But what I do, so here's another tip too. Someone in one of the expat groups on, what are you looking for, Boo? The bag? Are you using this? No? Mm-mm. No, go for it. You can take the cam. Yeah. Good. While cooking, yeah, as you should, because Gracie Lacochera's cooking kitchen. Okay, Gracie's kitchen. And so I haven't had to have any, which is good. I mean, I take okay, what's that thing called? Omeprazole. I take that once a day to get rid of any sort of acid reflux possibility. At the end of the day, I ingest things that aren't necessarily really great or healthy for my body, but I enjoy them. I enjoy the taste. It makes me, sometimes I like bubbles in my drinks. Somehow that's refreshing. And so therefore I ingest that. And the downside is that that's not what the body was necessarily designed, to use as fuel. But nonetheless, it's, Dave, you are everywhere. You're all over the place, baby. That's why you're loving Thailand. Never had the pleasure of meeting you. I'm in Prime Beach, Bangkok. Well, shoot, dude, we got to rectify that because I mean, you had me at I'm in beach. Let's see, hold on, and I don't know of that. Dude, are you serious? It's in Rayong? Wait, or is it in? Hold on, Fayun. How close have I gotten to you? Oh, not real close. We've been as far south as... Well, I've been as far south as... Let's see. Where did I go? I mean, I've been to Rayong, but you are further from there, aren't you? I'm trying to think how far I got down to. I didn't get down to the airport. Because I was going to go to Koh Samet, but then it was closed. The ferries weren't running. This was like, a year ago ish. And yeah, hold on. Let me just that seems like a pretty cool beach, dude. Hold on. Let me see what we got going on here. Let me do a little bit of dragging the Google guy. Is that it looks like a pretty good walking beach, man. Yummy. I like beach. I'm an expert at it, actually, as it turns out. Yeah, I mean, I love that kind of beach, right? So the thing that I'm looking at is, sand, but then trees, just bunch of pine trees. It looks like that looks like a pretty good walking beach, man. That must be a great place to live. Oh my God. Well, so the cool thing is then TDN. I will I will hopefully remember to contact you because I don't have a date that I'm going to be coming to Pattaya, but I absolutely need to come to Pattaya because of this baby. And I need to head down there. And the last time we went down there, we went down for a day. A couple of reasons, not the least of which was the fact that I was in pain. But we had just gotten back from our sort of road trip, and I had gotten over being sick, like throwing up everywhere for like a whole day. That was annoying to the point where like I hurt my chest muscles. I was just like, and then my back started. I mean, it's like it was just a bad. It was just a bad luck piece of lame sauce, one after another. And so anyway, with that came the inability to be anywhere, to the point where like I got there and we were going to have a meeting, and I went in and I said, okay, before like I do anything, just like I need to stand, because everyone's else, they were all like getting ready to sit down in these couches. I said, look, I know this is going to be like really weird, but if I sit down on this couch, I don't think I'm going to be able to get back up. So I need to stand and it was very uncomfortable because I'm standing, I'm talking to these guys, but nonetheless, met the owner of the station, basically the owner of Pattaya People Media Group, if you know or have heard of that. If you're familiar with Tukkom on Pattaya South Road, and you take a right before Tukkom, that is what's known as Pattaya People. And down there is a 3 or 4, potentially, I think, story building. He's got 3 radio stations in there, 96 FM, KISS 91.75, and 93, which right now is Nasha, which is a station that's basically being leased to a bunch of Indian guys who own Indian nightclubs on Walking Street. And so, as you can imagine, that business isn't going all real well, but they have the radio station that plays like Indian dance music. So I think that they're definitely serving a demographic that enjoys that sort of thing. But anyway, to that point, Thailand Digital Nomad, I will absolutely try and reach out to you. Now, hold on. Let me cruise over to your channel and make sure that I am subscribed and can contact you. Thailand Digital. So why am I not seeing your channel? Is that just like your handle and you don't have a channel? Anyway, do me a favor. Email me, livemyassoff@gmail.com, or Mike's at livemyassoff.com. Doesn't matter. It all gets to me eventually. Due for a pullback at 50. Oh, absolutely. I mean, is it even over? Because if it is over 50, then it's like, okay, yeah, then you're getting ready. Although when it got down to 30,000, it was pretty easy to be like, okay, it's time to reinvest. But I don't bother with Bitcoin either. I find it's archaic, man. It's just, I mean, it's like, oh yeah, General Electric is at an all-time low. It just doesn't interest me. You know, Ford, I could have made a ton of money in Ford. In fact, I think Go More Hike mentioned on the stream or something like that, that a while ago he bought Ford stock. And I'm like, that's brilliant. That's a very smart financial move, but I have no interest in Ford. And Coin Market Cap, that's where I go for my data. And you guys, oh, they're at 47. Yeah. What have they been? Have they been at, let's see, 1 month. Oh, yeah. Wait, when were they 52? When were they 50, rather? So that was August. Hold on. Why am I not seeing? Oh, there we go. Oh, wow. It's been that long since they were over 50? Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was that long ago. Wow. I didn't know they got down to like 22,000 recently. Wow. That's crazy. I mean, I don't pay attention to Bitcoin because, again, it's sort of, one could argue that when it goes up, others stuff goes up. So, okay, I get it. I get why that would probably be a wise move to pay attention to. But again, my money is invested, or it's spent on a few coins, and it just sits there. I'm not, I don't actively monitor it. We go Jom 10 every week. Oh, so down there, right? Like you can cruise, you can drive around. Do you go to Jom? Do you go past Jom 10? Do you go? I mean, if you're going by car, I assume it's not very intrusive, right? CEO buddy of mine literally used to live down the street and went down to Jom Tien to check it out for a little bit. And Gracie's cooking with onions. I can smell them.
Oh, it's the green chili.
Ah, okay. Okay, it smelled like onion. It's okay. What happens for me is that if there is excessive onions or garlic, I get really bad headaches. Go figure. Some people are allergic to strawberries. I am not. I ingest them. I love them. Anyway, so he moved down there and checked out an Airbnb in Jom Tien. This is probably about 2 months, maybe 3 months ago almost now. And then in the last month, came back up to Bangkok, put everything in a taxi, and now he's living in a townhouse, I believe on Soi 8 in Jom Tien, and he's about probably like 200-300 meters from the beach, 3-story actually townhouse. He's paying like 11,000 baht a month for this thing. It's new. I mean, and it's got like, new appointments in the front. And and that sounds like really good. And probably it's August right now, right? So next month, that might be a consideration that Gracie and I look into. I mean, yeah, we're in lockdown, but I mean, I get to go and do stuff. I mean, Gracie just hopped on a motorbike, went to the market, right? So I mean, the amount of lockdown that our lives are experiencing right now here in Bangkok, it's not excessive. Um, because if I go down to Pattaya or Jomtien, then yeah, I can go to the beach. So that would be a big value add. But the reason I say September is because in September would be when before September 30th will be, at least they're saying it is, the last time that Gracie can extend her COVID 60-day extension of her tourist visa. Of course, that's also what they said 60 days ago. They say that every 60 days. But I don't count on it. But the nice thing about this coming September is that it's close enough to the renewal of my visa, my retirement visa. And now that we're married, now this will be, I renew my retirement visa. Gracie becomes my spouse on my retirement visa. And now she and I both have 1 year multiple entry OA extensions, effectively, which then means we just go to a website and report every 90 days. Versus us having to basically give up her passport for sometimes a week so that she can get this extension every 60 days. So it'll be a lot nicer when we don't have to effectively be in Bangkok to do stuff like that. I have found a service, though. This last time we extended her visa 60 days. They are here in they're in Bangkok. Samut Sakhon, they're literally like 2 blocks into Samut Sakhon, just down the street. So technically in another province, but you'd never know it, right? And we, took a grab over there, and then they dealt with our stuff. To return our passport, they actually used a courier. So they probably, now that they have her information, they're the ones that are going to be handling my renewal and her transfer into as my spouse on the visa. Yeah. So I mean, we could effectively do that via courier. I mean, the Thai Post is outstanding. I would have no problem, mailing our passports like from Kopangan or Jomtien for that matter. And, who knows? Maybe they also have the ability to have friends handle what we need to be done via the immigration there in Jomtien on Soy. I'm going to go with Soy 3. Is that where they are? Which is a fine. It's very convenient for me because it's immigration, but then also down the street is Bangkok Bank, which is where I opened up my account. And unfortunately, if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't do it at Bangkok Bank. The ability to ACH money into and effectively out, but basically just into their New York branch was a complete waste of energy and costly, actually. There are many better, more efficient, cheaper, faster ways to get money from the United States to me in Thailand that don't involve having had to have a Bangkok bank account. But nonetheless, I have it. My ATM card expired, which is no big deal because you use your phone at the ATM, right? You just you open the app and you scan the QR code, and then you're in your ATM. You don't need a PIN, you don't need the physical card, and there's actually no charge for that, which is nice because again, it's not a lot, but it's 50 cents every time I use my ATM card, which it no longer is, but it's expired, and the only way to get a replacement is to go to the original branch I went to, that's also archaic, whereas Casacorn is a little bit more flexible. And had I to do it again, I probably would have gone with SCB. But nonetheless, we may head down there and do it permanently because I could get a lot more. I could get work done. I could get different work done on Kiss FM in Pattaya if I was physically there. 19th of September for ASQ. All right, Mark. So then that means basically that just right now. I suppose I could verify. And D Live and a couple other places like that. But right now the performance of the laptop is not awesome, which I don't like. I'm a big fan of. And but yeah, it looks like we're still going. An hour and 39 minutes. Thank you for continuing to watch. Although the quality of the video looks quite shitty, actually. So I apologize for that if that is what you're experiencing. Not my intent. I can tell you that right now. But anyway, it's imperfect. So, but let me just mute this as I go over to YouTube to find out what we got going on. Yeah, the quality of the video seems pretty crappy. That's too bad. And it should be 720 that I should be streaming in, but it doesn't sound like YouTube is agreeing with me on that. So, oh well. Once again, there's no SLA on the internet, right? Although, you know what's sort of frustrating about StreamYard is that I've noticed that the quality of the video coming out of those guys has been pretty crappy in a number of areas. There's a couple things I was doing yesterday, and I, here's what, yeah, I was gonna say, I should be connected with 6. Yeah, I'm on Ethernet. Shouldn't be doing Wi-Fi. Because what's funny, right, is if I email StreamYard, or at the end of every, that they give you a ability to give them a, oh, hold on. Let me go back to, thank you, Joe. Let me go over to your, or Thailand Digital Nomads channel, subscribe, and all. Okay, cool, there we go. And then about, and then view email address. Okay, I will email you here. How's that, dude? That way we have. Oh, Joe, you bought us a coffee. Thank you, dude. Oh shoot, you did that at 8:40. See, the notification. Oh, I love the smell of butter. I got to tell you, man, butter on a grill all day long from this guy. Can you guys hear that? Gracie cooking away. I'm the luckiest guy in the world, dude. Okay. So let's see if I can do this. Let me just, whoop. Do you hear the grilling? Okay. All right, Casablanca. I've emailed you. So you should have my contact info, which is outstanding. Thank you for sharing that, Joe. Very helpful. And Prime Burger, Treetown at least. I know they're well, I know. Okay, what the hell for shitty internet does not even exist. I have 0 tolerance for that, in fact, right now. And if the video is freezing, I am literally seconds and inches away from throwing my laptop and the router out the window and starting all over again. Totally unacceptable. It is, for God's sake, it is 2021. If the internet is bad in 2021, I cannot tolerate that. Let me make sure the silly damn Wi-Fi is off. And let me make sure that I'm connected, wired. Because as I was going to say, so StreamYard will be like, oh, how was your experience? And I'll be like, it was crappy. I mean, it kept dropping out. I mean, don't you have multiple points? Come on, for the love of God, don't you have edge locations that I can connect to? And then they're, oh, well, make sure you're closer to the router. I'm like, you freaking idiot. No, that is not. So anyway, all right. I believe I've solved the problem. Ford owner and shareholder. Yeah, absolutely. See, that's the thing, man. If it's like part of your life, then I completely agree. I absolutely think that that's a great thing. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I'm a big fan of GoPro. I'm an owner and a shareholder. And I think that's how you should be, because I believe that I invest to the best of my ability as an owner, not as a gambler. I do not, I don't buy stock as a gambler. So, yeah, so what are you cooking right now? The guys are curious. Are you videoing it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, she's going to be. Are you live?
No.
Okay.
It's the tomato that I watched last night.
Oh, got it. Yeah. She is cooking in the kitchen. Absolutely, Joe. Ah, Reef. So lame. Going to bed, buddy. Have a good one. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming by, man. Really appreciate the super chats. Awesome. It was 7:20, but just tried. Chris, yeah, you know how much that bugs me, bro. Yes, indeed. You have a fabulous night's sleep, sir. Okay, I'm glad. All right, well, cool. You know what I'm going to do? It's 10:15, and I'm in the mood for a cool and refreshing beverage. And the smell of Gracie's awesome cooking is actually wafting over here. And I really, really wish you guys could experience that, and promise that if you come up here, you'll be able to. How's that? So it's Mike's from livemyassoff.com saying, I hope you're living the dream, because if you're not living the dream, there's a high likelihood that you probably haven't listened to Kiss FM lately. And if you haven't listened to Kiss FM, then I don't know what the hell's wrong with you. And but if you would like, I would then probably encourage you to listen to bkk.fm if you'd like, if you're smart, if you know what's good for you. And I would be honored by that. So in any case, I hope you guys are fantastic. I really want to thank you for coming by and keeping me sane and interacting with me. And it's good to hear that some of you guys are doing really well. It was very encouraging to hear that someone who's living basically near Rayong, south of Rayong, is able to cruise up to Jomtien for a hamburger. I love good hamburgers, man. And so that's very cool. I'll definitely have to, maybe that's where we'll meet, because I can tell you that Tree Town is about, oh boy. I mean, I shoot from the Kiss FM studios. I could walk to Tree Town, no worries. I mean, I used to walk, 10 kilometers a day. Town, yeah. Oh, cool. Thank you. Absolutely lost interest in any degree of competency that StreamYard may not have. Which is another reason why I'm not this guy in Thailand. So anyway, with that, I hope you guys are living the dream.